Ladies and gentlemen, hour number 2, Friday edition, Steve Malzberg Show, and a man that from what we went through during the George Zimmerman trial, how much I admired Mark O'Mara from afar, and then had a chance to interview him a couple of times, and now he's sitting right here. Mark, great to see you.
Great to see you. Great to finally meet you.
CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney. Boy, where to start? First, I was slightly littler than you,
Yep.
but you remember where you were. I kind of don't. I was 4.5, but you were 7 or so, right?
I was 7, second grade, Miss Kenovan at St. Pius School, and that's where it was. And I just remember this pallor coming over her, and then the whole the whole school, and then the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, and you said something interesting off the air. You said, that as a nation, and we mourned for so long, and for a year or whatever, and now. I guess it's the media age, and we're so bombarded. We lose the sensitivity to tragedy, and we see it all the time. And now, you said the kids got killed at Columbine in Connecticut, and after a couple of weeks or a month, we move on.
Oh, yeah, it's strange. It really is sort of different because back then we had 1 or 2 or 3 people you can listen to, right? Walter Cronkite, and you listened to him, and he thought about it, and he was trustworthy and believable. And now it seems like you have to be first to get the news out, and I really think it degrades what we hear.
Yeah, and they get it wrong a lot of times in their efforts to get it out. Let's talk about George Zimmerman, a man who, if I'm correct, you no longer represent.
No, I don't.
You still talk to him at all?
I still talk to him on occasion. I mean, we got quite a friendship if you think about it for the year and a half that we were working together a lot, day by day. But I was really brought in for that done, and that was my job.
What the heck is he doing now? I mean, I thought that when it was over, and he had no bigger supporter. When I say supporter, I mean I wanted him to be judged on the facts of the case,
sure.
As you presented so brilliantly. But I would have thought he would have gone away for his own safety, go into hiding for a while, certainly lay low, not get out and save people in cars, not brandish a gun, not get involved in any kind of dispute, whether it's legitimate or not. Why do you think this is happening?
Well, you have to think back to who he was back in February 2012. And from all of we know there was the one event of domestic violence supposedly with his girlfriend. That was really rebuffed pretty well. But you look at him back in 2012, the FBI did an investigation on him. They talked to 40 of his friends and other people who knew him, co-workers, and all of them said he's peaceful, he's calm, he's easygoing, he's certainly not a racist at all. And that's probably our best insight to who George Zimmerman was before this event. Now, you look forward to what happened in 2012, and I know that people don't like when I say that George went through trauma as well because it doesn't compare to what Trayvon went through, but George went through trauma as well. When you shoot somebody, even if it's justified, that's trauma. When our cops do that, they put them through counseling, they take them off the street, they make sure everything's okay, they debrief them properly, they watch them for a year or two. Instead, with George, what happened was he was vilified in the press. All of a sudden, he's a racist murderer. That was the catchphrase. He's put into hiding for 16, 17 months.
And the new Black Panther Party put out a bounty, dead or alive?
Right. So you tell me what's going to happen to a 28-year-old completely ill-equipped to deal with that. And now we look forward after the verdict when finally America might see that he did what he only had to do. And no, there's still this sort of vilification. So I'm not trying to explain bad behavior or domestic violence behavior if those allegations have any truth to them. But if we look at somebody and say this is the fallout from what he went through, maybe it's a little bit easier to understand or explain away.
Of course, in the first incident, and I don't want to get too in depth, but the estranged wife had said that in the 911 call that he pointed the gun at her, that he beat up the father, and as it turned out, as far as I know, he didn't beat up the father, and she took back the fact that she ever saw the gun. So, we don't know where that stands, and we don't know where the second case stands yet either.
True. We have to wait to see. The one thing that we know we did wrong against George Zimmerman was everybody rushed to judgment against George Zimmerman in the first case, right? Everyone took the snippets and made it the complete story.
Well, when the ex-wife says on Katie Couric yesterday, as she said before, this makes me rethink my support for him in the Trayvon case. And, of course, the media, who despises him, jumps on and says, whoa, what does this mean? Well, you can't be tried again. He could confess. O.J. could confess. They can't be tried again. I mean, the media, you would think they'd know better.
Well, she makes that statement that she said. I think the first part of it, which is almost a testament to everything that George has gone through, that he's changed, a pacing lion. I think that's just evidence of the stress and trauma that he had been through. And I think every one of my clients come in and goes, this is not the person I married.
Absolutely.
Well, we have to take that with a grain of salt as probably intended.
Now, are you worried about him? I mean, there are questions that the media raises anyway about suicidal. I think the girlfriend said he's not suicidal. Do you worry for his safety at his own hands?
Well, I wish George well, and I wish him peace, and I wish that he could actually walk the streets again the way he did back before February 2012. I don't think he'll ever have the life that he wished he had back. Has he been through an enormous amount? Yes. Do I see this happen with other clients and watch them degrade somewhat? Yes. I truly hope that George can figure out a way to try and get that sense of peace back to himself.
Now, one more. The NBC libel, where they edited those tapes to reflect him saying, or to make up that he said that Trayvon Martin was black and acting funny when he was asked, is he black, white, or Hispanic?
Correct.
They edited the tapes together. Where is that case, and are you involved with that case, or will you be?
It's still pending. I'm local counsel. I don't do that type of work, but I'm local counsel for the attorney who is sort of primary counsel on it. It is still alive, absolutely. It's been in hiatus status because since the criminal case is pending, technically it's still pending because of the motion for sanctions against the state for everything that they did wrong to us, and then a motion for cost. Once that is done, then that case can take off again.
We're talking to CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Mark O'Mara here on the Steve Malzberg Show. You have you write now. You got a blog and where people could
Yes, I do. O'Mara Law Blog, and it's been really good because all of these issues that come up, from anything from some of the police shootings that have happened to some of the self-defense and non-self-defense occurrences we've been talking about on the blog.
I want to get. We're going to have another segment with you, which we'll get to we're going to break in a minute. So I want to save your very big. We talked to you about the law that you hope to help write. That you wrote what you hope will become legislation for anti-bullying, and there was some decision made in a case of a bullying case down in Florida yesterday. I want to get to that, but quickly, the media. You know. How much of the media did you watch during the case? And at the end, when people, I think it was Sunny Houston or whatever her name is on CNN, I'm not asking you to knock a colleague, but nonetheless, when the closing arguments started and your counterpart made them, she said, she took a line from Jerry Maguire, said, he had those women right at hello. He is a sex symbol. They were swooning over him. About him. I mean, did you watch that? Were you aware of that? Did you know that stuff was going on?
No, I didn't realize that Sonny had a crush on John Guy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Sonny has her perspective on the case. She's more than entitled to it.
But she wasn't alone. She happened to say that. They were all rooting against you.
I think there was certainly that percentage out there who wanted a conviction in the case, certainly. But I think the facts were what the facts were, and it wasn't a second-degree murder case when they first charged it. It wasn't anywhere along the way. And let's not forget, the state put on the best case that they possibly could in that case. There was nothing kept out of the courtroom.
Which was a bad case because of the evidence.
It was never a case.
It was never a case, absolutely. And so you didn't go home and watch TV at all? You had no time for that,
well,
right?
We left the courtroom at 5 or 6. We went to the war room we had downstairs for an hour or two. We went back to the office, and we.
How about your wife?
Did
she say, "Oh my God, you should hear what this one said or that one said"? No.
No. I really didn't get home till 11 or midnight. So what we did say was, "Hello, how you doing? It's good to see you again."
All right, we're going to come back. We're going to continue with Mark O'Mara here from the Northeast, from up here in the New York area,
absolutely.
Queens.
Yeah, Queens.
Very good. I'm a Brooklyn guy, so no wonder there's such an affinity going on here. All right, we're going to continue. 877 Newsmax, of course, is the number. 877 Newsmax. Later on in the show, Quanell X, the spokesman for the new Black Panther Party, will join us, not to talk about this, but to talk about that horrific knockout stuff that's going on, where people are attacked by, usually that I've seen, black teenagers who are looking to knock someone out literally with one punch. We're coming back. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV, and